Larry! I knew it was you. You look exactly like your profile portrait, except now I can see all of you. And whoa, you must work out a lot. You are fit. Me, I just go to the doctor's office these days. My kidneys, you know, but I mean, I'm more than my kidneys, right? Waitress! Hey, waitress, yeah. I'll have a morning glory muffin. I don't care if it's on the breakfast menu, just call it an evening glory muffin, and I'll have that with a glass of Merlot. Service these days. So Larry, what white teeth you have? Are they new? Are they original? Goodness. I know, that's a very personal question. I'm really sorry, but I am just so tired of waking up with my date's teeth staring at me from the bedside table. Ugh. I want you to know, Larry, that I have never dated online before. I am an online virgin. Okay, I've tried meeting men in the doctor's office. I mean, why not enjoy yourself a little while you're waiting? I mean, instead of reading that horrible People magazine, I mean, who the fuck cares about Britney Spears and her father? Ugh. But a nurse kicked me out for soliciting, and I had to tell her, I am not a prostitute. I am a patient, and I am just looking for a little romance with my colonoscopy. So anyway, I thought, what the hell? Why not check out this website? It says meet eligible, available, successful, alive, and breathing men your age. So hello, silver seniors. I hate that name, by the way. There's nothing silver about me. Silver is shiny, polished, crisp, cool. That's never been my style. I think I'm more like a fiery, sun-blazed red, or a burnt orange, or rust. Yes, rust. Rust is made from iron, corroded by water, by tears, by life. 3 divorces, Larry. 3. 1 bankruptcy, my 3rd ex's fault. Roger made a lot of bad investments, the yacht, the condo. Ugh. And then the Beanie Babies. Trust me, he said, trust me. Beanie Babies are going to make us millionaires, very, very rich. They're not just stuffed toys, they are an investment. Well, if you come to my place, I know it's too soon to ask that. I've got these damn Beanie Babies staring at me with their sad, googly eyes. I try to sell them, but nobody wants them. But boy, were they hot in the 90s, and so was I. So here I am, trying to sell myself like a Beanie Baby online. But everything's done online these days, right? So why not romance? And that's what I'm looking for, Larry, romance. I've still got this very big fire burning deep inside of me. It's not acid indigestion. I mean, sometimes it is, but this isn't. So how about it, Larry? You're a Libra. I'm a Scorpio. I like long walks on the beach, smooth jazz, deep conversations by candlelight where we're just staring into each other's eyes. Larry, why are you getting up? The wine hasn't even come yet. Okay, fine, go. But you're never gonna find another gal like me, Larry, because I am 1 in a million, baby. 1 in a million, like the winning lottery ticket. But you blew it. Men these days
Noun. The state of being friends. The quality or state of being friendly. This is a very vague term. First of all, it doesn't even really define friendship. It keeps using the word friends, which makes it a circular definition. But it also doesn't really tell you what friendship is like, or how it should feel, or even how it can be achieved, or what it's made of. When I think of friendship, I think of permanent and real, almost like something you can hold in your hands. Gray clouds and sunshine, rocky hills and grassy fields, and they stay with you through it all, no matter what. And I think of riding horses with Elizabeth, the wind of a summer storm throwing her hair around and laughing and knowing that she'll be here tomorrow. And I think of little Scout with her wild short hair and bright eyes, the knees of her jeans covered in grass and dirt from long summer days outside. Somebody as loyal as she is, it's hard to come by. They're the ones with whom you can hike the tallest mountains, or sit by the smallest streams, or talk for the longest hours, the shortest minutes, and all of life feels like a great adventure. Friendship is honesty and confidence in one another. Like Nick, who can keep any secret and tell any truth, and even when he messes up, it's okay, because he knows it, and he keeps coming back to the beginning and remembers how all of it started, and isn't that the most important thing? And I think of Josephine, who reminds me that friendship doesn't have to be warm and tame. It can be strong and magnificent and chaotic. Friendship is sharing a love different from anything else. It is a love that feels effortless and promises to stay with you even on the loneliest days. I have tried and tried to write the dictionary a better definition for friendship, but at its heart it is something entirely undefinable. You have to feel it to know that it exists. The closest that I've come is being able to translate the feeling of looking at somebody beside you, or laughing with them, or talking with them late into the night, wherever they are, and knowing that you won't be left behind. Technically, the dictionary didn't get it wrong. But that's the problem with having a vague definition. It doesn't specifically state that a friend has to be a real person. So, maybe fictional friends just as good.
Done with that. Been a slow week. Dave and I used to do that in third grade, pretty much every day in the cafeteria. People think I'm the funny one, but Dave was like Robin Williams and Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy all rolled into one funny as shit package. He could make anybody laugh. Didn't matter who. Teachers, preachers, every soul up in the bleachers. When he'd hit a home run, he'd take the bat and spin it like this, and then he'd do this little walk around every base, you know? Oh, jeez. You'd think with a name like Ace, I'd be the star player. I tore my ACL back then, and he hasn't been the same since. And Dave, even though he was supremely gifted from the gods, just quit. I mean, that kid could have actually gone to the majors, but he just stopped playing because they took me off the team. That's a friend. That's a best friend. Sure as hell don't have anything like that now. So we started going to the movies every summer. See Raiders of the Lost Ark, E.T., Stand By Me, The Goonies. My mom would take us, and she was cool. Didn't matter if it was PG-13, R. We saw them all. We didn't have peanuts and Cracker Jack, but we had popcorn. We had each other. We'd go home and act out our favorite scenes. My mom even got me this whip, which in my hands might as well have been a big bowl of SpaghettiOs, but Dave instinctively knew what to do with it. He was an honest-to-God, real-life Indiana fucking Jones. He could hit a bottle from 20 feet away. He wanted me to come with him, you know. After high school, he wanted me to come with him to LA. I hear he's working on the latest Marvel film out there. No surprise there. But, you know, I got caught up in life. We all do, right? My mom got sick senior year. Ovarian cancer. She was my other best friend. Lost both my best friends that year. Yeah, that's fine right there. Thanks, Tommy. You ever wonder what your life could have been like had you gone? Had you done the thing you wanted to do? Never too late to clean that slate, clear off home plate. If you can't run, you can walk or crawl, step away from it all and say, it's you and me, kid. We're all we've got. Then again, maybe Dave's out there thinking the same thing. Maybe he's out there waiting for me to take my crack. Pick up that bat. Be that star player. Even if it's a Hollywood player. And we can't have it all, can we? We could try, right? We could try.
My mother's connection to the world was fragile at best. She didn't speak English very well, and frankly, I think she had little interest. I think she was afraid to be soft with us, particularly me. I was the only girl. The boys seemed to naturally get by. Maybe she could feel my fear. I did my best to hide it until I was alone, but I don't think any of that fooled Eleni. Was her name. And before you start thinking that this is the sad story of a woman who immigrated from Greece and who married a big, unloving man because she had little choice to do otherwise, this is not that story. Well, it's not the end of the story. This is about honeybees and a woman who loved them and understood them as well as any well-trained beekeeper. Without being told, she understood that the queen is always engaged in a battle to maintain her spot in the growth of the hive. She saw them not just for what they did, but for who they are. I think she understood this about people too. About me. Her blood was in our veins, but the occasional venom of those bees was in hers. She might have floated away otherwise, without them. She was there every morning to make our breakfast and ensure we left for school, and was there when we got home, but she was always with her bees. She built hives in the woods that surrounded our little farm, and almost every day she walked out there and disappeared into the trees. And when I was younger, I would ask if I could come along. She almost always let me, but as I got older, I felt like a guest who had overstayed her welcome. Instead, I followed her. I thought I was stealthy, but I'm sure she knew I was there. And I'm guessing that she didn't mind. She had chosen this small clearing in the woods where there was ample sunlight for several hours of the day, no matter the season. And she planted all sorts of flowering plants there. It took years, and almost every year she added a hive. When I left for college, there were 12 hives spread out among the trees and flowers. The air was abuzz with bees, obviously, but it was filled with Eleni. Her love for me and my brothers wasn't often obvious, except that she fed us, washed us, cared for us when we were sick, but there were few hugs and even fewer kisses. I don't know that any of the boys cared so much. They all grew up and moved on with little complication anyway. I might have required some therapy or acted out as soon as I had the chance, except that all those times I watched her from behind the tree with the bees, she cooed to them in Greek using a voice and a tone that I never heard otherwise. Agape smu. My loves in Greek. It was like she was calling a stray dog who obviously needed some food and water, but probably some love even more. I didn't begrudge the bees that tenderness and love even then. I think I understood at 15 that it was just a part of her that she couldn't risk letting out with us or anyone but those bees. My brother called to tell me that she was in the hospital and I should probably come home quickly. And I did. All of us sat in her room quietly with the shades mostly drawn, as if she was back in that little house she grew up in Crete. The day before she passed, she spoke to me in Greek because I'm guessing she knew that my brothers and father wouldn't understand. Go to them. Love them. And I did. It's taken me a couple of years, but all the hives are active. I'm not sure the love of these thousands of little beings is coursing through my veins the way it did hers, and by my account, I'm much more prone to be stung, but I feel her love out there. I hear her saying, Agape smu. And I feel like she's saying it to me now as well. And I answer, I love you too.
I don't understand it. I didn't do anything wrong. It was just a little harmless flirting. I would never, ever do anything to intentionally upset anyone. Maybe I didn't do it right. I've never flirted before, so it's possible. I'm Catholic. I was taught that flirting was the 8th deadly sin, that it was like a gateway drug. Marijuana leads to heroin and flirting leads to the vault, a popular sex club in New York City in the 90s. That's where I'm from. New York, not the vault. I always thought that way of thinking was so extreme. I mean, Blanche Devereaux's flirting on the Golden Girls didn't lead to her making love at the vault, surrounded by enthusiastic onlookers waiting patiently for their turn to paddle her petite patootie. Her flirting was so classy and effortless. Probably because she's Southern. It's in their DNA. As Sophia Petrillo would say, picture it. Atlanta, Georgia, 1934. Baby Blanche, winking coyly at the doctor smacking her newborn hiney. But to throw that little girl's birthday cake in my face? I didn't mean anything by it. I didn't. It was like how people describe an out-of-body experience. Because that's what happened. I left my body. I was somewhere above the action, watching myself flirt. And, if I'm entirely honest, not without a modicum of pride. I have been so desperate for so long to cut loose, let go, free myself to flirt. And how was I to know that the party clown was the little girl's father? It's not like he was wearing a name tag that said birthday girl's dad. He was entertaining and hot. I have a thing for clowns. I mean, repressed person that I've always been, it's not a fetish I ever indulged, but what can I say? My eyes were no longer my own. And my tongue, sweet Jesus, that was a complete surprise. Next thing I knew, bam, German chocolate cake right in my kisser. Candle still burning. Believe me, I was very much back in my body. And my boss was screaming at me to leave her daughter's birthday party immediately and have my resignation letter on her desk first thing in the morning. She's a wonderful woman, but clearly territorial. I really am sorry, but not ashamed. And that feels good. For someone raised to be a good Catholic girl like me, it's a victory.
A horse walks into a bar. The bartender says, "Hey, why the long face?" It's not funny, is it? I mean, I've tried it different ways. A horse walks into a bar. The bartender says, "Hey, why the long face?" I've always felt like I should be a performance artist. Like, I tried being a magician, but I was allergic to rabbits. I practiced with Houdini, that's the rabbit. But then my eyes started to water and the sneezing started. What's a magician who can't pull a rabbit from a hat? So embarrassed, he wants to disappear. I tried being a mime, but that didn't open any doors. Then I decided to try interpretive dance, thinking maybe movement was more my thing. I made everyone in the class laugh, so I thought, maybe I am funny. See, my dad is a professional comedian. My sisters, comedians. My ex-girlfriend, she is a comedian too. We, actually met at an open mic night. It should have been a red flag when she told me she'd seen me on stage the week before and then promptly talked me into leaving the club to hang out and skip my turn. And she never said I was funny. I would tell her jokes, and she would just roll her eyes and say, "You've got to be kidding me," which... But she really wanted to meet my family, especially my dad. Oh, guess who's a professional comedian now? My stepmother, formerly known as my ex-girlfriend. Yeah, I know, you gotta be kidding me, right? I wish I were. But being a comedian is in my genes. I come from generations of funny people, so why not me too? It's a lot of pressure, but at this point I've got something to prove. I've taken classes and gone to open mic nights. I've been heckled and had pub mix thrown at me. I started seeing this life coach, hoping she'd give me some direction. Her Facebook page said she specialized in working with comedians. She called herself a laugh coach. I'm like, that's pretty funny. So I paid for 6 sessions in advance because apparently insurance doesn't cover a laugh coach. Diagnosis? Not funny. Stop trying to be like your siblings. Stop trying to be like your dad or your ex-girlfriend's stepmother. Be yourself, which is not funny. Just like that. My comedy days are over. Oh, you like that, huh? Yeah, I can whistle anything. Wait. I can't believe it. It's a thing. Professional whistling is a thing? I don't have to be funny. I can literally whistle while I work. This is it, and I'm not gonna blow it this time.
Excuse me? Hi, sorry. Do you need a napkin? Well, I'm not trying to be intrusive or anything. I could just feel that a napkin might help with the whole situation you've got going on over here. It's really no problem. I have one right here. I keep one on my person at all times. Never know when a napkin might come in handy, you know? I've got a whole pile at home just waiting to be given out to those in need, which is more people than you'd think. I mean, you wouldn't believe the amount of times I see someone who looks like they're about to create an absolute mess, and gosh, I don't know if it's the anxiety or the Pisces in me, but I feel like I've just got to jump right in there and offer some assistance. You know, we're actually the most empathetic of all the signs. At first I couldn't believe that, but then I got to thinking about it, and you know what I said? I said, that makes complete sense. Of course you're an empath. You're always feeling so much, and I am. It's so true. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, yep, that checks out. Because even the other day, oh, you're gonna love this story. Wait until I tell you the story. Can I sit down? Okay, so the other day, I'm driving home from work and I'm in my car. Where else would I be driving other than my car, right? Okay, so I'm driving home from work and I'm in my car and I get to a stoplight. It's red, so I stop. I'm sitting there for a few seconds and then this woman pulls up right next to me. You know what she was doing? I'll tell you what she was doing. She was eating an ice cream cone. She looked ecstatic, absolutely thrilled about the journey her life has taken in order to get her to this moment in time, this one single moment where she is at a stoplight, just licking away at an ice cream cone. And all I can think about is how she really must not realize that ice cream doesn't travel well. Not in a hot car. And you know what she didn't have? That's right, a napkin. She was just holding the cone. Nothing wrapped around it to protect her hand from the dripping. So I'm sitting there wondering what kind of person doesn't ask for their cone to be all cozied up? What kind of place doesn't cozy their cones anyway? Okay, I'm thinking this, and the next thing I know, I'm rolling down my window because I've got to call out to her. I mean, what's her deal, right? That's exactly what I say. I call out to her and I say, "What's your deal?" Her window's up, so I start talking louder. "Aren't you aware that ice cream really doesn't travel well? Honey, that whole thing is going to melt before you're able to finish it." She's looking at me now. making eye contact with me right in the eyes. And I could have sworn she mouthed back to me, "It'll be fine." So I'm like, "No, it won't be fine. It'll be a mess. Do you need a nap?" And I kid you not, the light turns green. She notices before I do, and she turns away, never to be seen again. Probably has that ice cream melting all over her car as she treks back to New Jersey. At least, I assume she's from New Jersey. That's what her plate said. Okay, all the way home, I'm thinking about this interaction. Why didn't she want my help? Did she see me? Was she actually saying something back to me? I mean, she looked at me, I know that, but I don't know if she even heard what I was saying. But hey, I will tell you that even if she chose to ignore me, I don't know that I can blame her for that. I don't know that people like me that much. My mother says it's because I find the most unhelpful situations to be helpful in. Well, no, that's not how she says it. What does she say? Oh, right. Sometimes being helpful isn't helpful. That's what she says. I'm still figuring that one out, you know, because there are two types of people, a fixer and a listener. And apparently I jumped to fixing instead of listening and insert myself into situations some people don't really need my input on. Like I said, I'm a Pisces, so it's actually not my fault that I'm a bit more sensitive to other people's feelings than they are to mine. Well, I'm not saying that you're insensitive, of course. I guess maybe it's hard for people to empathize with me because I'm so good at it that you've really got to put in some work for it to be a fair fight. I'm not degrading or devaluing myself either. Like, I like me, I know what I bring to the table, I think I'm pretty heckin' cool, but let's say I'm next door neighbors with my favorite actor. Do you think they would like me? Like, would Bo Burnham actually like me? Look at me, talking about how the problem with my problems is that people don't like me, and you're sitting here with problems of your own, probably. So, what brought you over here today? Wait, no, don't answer that. I came over to you, didn't I? Oh, I always do this. Now, why did I do that? The napkin! Oh, you know what? Why don't you take it, just in case? Oh, in fact, take two. One for you, and one in honor of that woman with the ice cream. Seriously, it'll make me feel so much better to just know that you're covered, so here, take this and remember me. Actually, don't. Forget that I said any of this. I'll just take this back. Never know when I might need it.